The room is quiet now, too quiet. And somehow, out of all the videos you could have clicked tonight, you opened this one. Not by accident, not because the algorithm guessed correctly, but because your soul has been whispering for help in ways nobody around you could hear. So before you sleep, before the tears come again, before you stare at the ceiling, wondering how much longer you can carry all of this, listen carefully, because this message may be the very thing keeping your heart from giving up. And deep down, you know that. You've been afraid lately, not just tired, not just stressed. Afraid that life is moving on without you. Afraid you missed your moment. Afraid the doors are closing one by one while you stand there empty-handed, watching other people move forward. You see people succeeding, building lives, finding love, starting over, walking into opportunities you prayed for years ago. And meanwhile, you sit there wondering what happened to your own life, wondering if heaven skipped your name, wondering if maybe you waited too long, maybe you failed too many times, maybe you're too broken now, too exhausted, too late. But tonight, God wants you to hear something clearly. The opportunity over your life is not dead. The door has not closed. And the reason this message found you now is because heaven is trying to wake you up before fear talks you out of your future. Because lately, fear has been talking very loudly, hasn't it? It talks to you in the middle of the night, when everybody else is asleep, when your phone screen goes dark, when the distractions disappear. That's when it comes, that heavy feeling in your chest, that silent panic, that thought you never say out loud. What if nothing changes? You try to stay positive around people. You smile, you nod, you tell everyone you're fine. But inside, you feel like you're carrying invisible bricks nobody can see. You are tired in places sleep cannot fix. And God saw every second of it. He saw the nights you cried without making a sound because you didn't want anyone hearing you through the walls. He saw you sitting in your car after work, not ready to go inside yet because you were emotionally drained. He saw you refreshing your bank account, hoping somehow the numbers changed. He saw you staring at old messages, old memories, old dreams, wondering where the version of you went that once believed life would turn out differently. And still, you kept going, barely, but you kept going. Do you understand how powerful that is? There were moments hell expected you to quit completely. Moments. Darkness thought it had finally crushed your spirit. But somehow, you survived another day, and heaven noticed that. You think your survival was small. God calls it strength. You think you're weak because you cry, but tears are not weakness. Sometimes tears are proof that your soul has been fighting battles your mouth doesn't even know how to explain. And lately, the battle around your life has been deeper than you realize. Because there are opportunities attached to your future that fear wants to destroy before they arrive. There is healing trying to reach you, peace trying to reach you, restoration trying to reach you. But anxiety has been standing at the door of your mind. trying to convince you nothing good is coming, trying to make you settle, trying to make you stop believing, trying to make you miss what God is opening right now. That's why you've felt such pressure lately, such exhaustion, such confusion. Because the closer people get to breakthrough, the louder fear becomes. The enemy doesn't attack empty people. He attacks purpose. He attacks destiny. He attacks the people carrying something beautiful inside them. And whether you realize it or not, you still carry something beautiful. Even after everything life has done to you, even after rejection, even after betrayal, even after being overlooked, even after people walked away, there is still light in you, still purpose in you, still a future in you. That's why you cannot fully give up. You've tried. You've wanted to disappear sometimes, wanted to shut the world out, wanted the pain to stop. But something deep inside, you kept whispering, hold on a little longer. That whisper was not your imagination. That was God, sitting beside you in rooms where you felt completely alone, holding together pieces of you nobody else knew were falling apart. You thought heaven was silent, but heaven was carrying you through nights that should have broken you completely. And now something is shifting. You can feel it. Even through the exhaustion, even through the fear, there is movement happening spiritually around your life. Doors you thought were permanently locked are beginning to move, not because you earned it perfectly, not because you became flawless, but because grace has entered the room. God is not waiting for you to become perfect before He blesses you. If perfection were required, nobody would survive. No, He moves through tired people, broken people, people who still doubt sometimes, people who pray through tears, people who whisper tiny exhausted prayers like, God, please help me. And maybe that's all you've had lately. Tiny prayers, weak prayers, half-finished prayers. But heaven heard every single one. Especially the prayers you cried without words. Especially the nights your heart spoke what your mouth could not. You need to understand this tonight. Your life is not ending. It is transitioning. There is a difference. You thought everything was falling apart, but some things had to fall apart because they could not follow you into the next chapter. The old version of your life cannot contain where God is taking you. And yes, transition feels terrifying sometimes, because transition looks like confusion before clarity arrives. It looks like loneliness before alignment arrives. It looks like endings before new doors appear. That's where you've been living lately. In between, not where you used to be, but not fully where you're going either. And honestly, that place can feel brutal, because people celebrate finished miracles, but very few people talk about the emotional exhaustion of becoming, the waiting, the uncertainty, the silent battles, the moments you almost lose hope completely. But listen carefully now. This is important. You are closer than you think, closer to peace, closer to healing, closer to the opportunity you thought you lost forever, closer to the breakthrough that will make sense of this painful season. And no, that doesn't mean life suddenly becomes perfect tomorrow. But it does mean this darkness is not permanent. Your story is not over in this chapter. God is already arranging things behind the scenes you cannot yet see. Conversations, connections, openings, divine timing, protection, redirection. Even the delays you hated may have been protecting you from doors that looked good, but would have destroyed your peace later. You thought God abandoned you. Sometimes He was protecting you from things your emotions desperately wanted. And one day, you will thank Him for every closed door that kept you from the wrong place. But tonight, you don't need all the answers. You just need reassurance. You just need to know somebody still sees you. So hear this deeply. God sees the version of you nobody else notices. The exhausted version, the anxious version, the version pretending to be okay at work, the version lying awake, replaying every mistake, the version terrified about money, terrified about the future, terrified about becoming stuck forever. God sees the panic you hide behind your smile. And He is not ashamed of you for struggling, not disappointed because you feel tired, not angry because your faith has felt weak lately. He understands human exhaustion. He understands emotional pain. He understands what it feels like to carry heavy things silently. That's why His presence tonight feels gentle, not condemning, not harsh, gentle, like someone sitting beside you saying, "You don't have to carry this alone anymore, because you were never created to survive only on your own strength. And honestly, you've been trying to do that for too long. You've been carrying entire emotional worlds inside yourself without letting anybody help. You became strong because life forced you to. But strength without rest eventually becomes suffering. And God is trying to restore your soul before burnout completely consumes your spirit. That's why this moment matters. Because something inside you is waking up again. Not loud confidence, not fake positivity. Something deeper. Hope. Real hope. The kind that quietly returns after months of emotional numbness. The kind that whispers, "Maybe my life is not ruined after all." And no, you are not crazy for still believing good things can happen. That desire inside you is there for a reason. People do not accidentally carry visions for futures that do not exist. The dreams inside you survived because they were planted intentionally. Even now, underneath all the fear, part of you still believes your story can change. That part of you is correct, because there are blessings approaching your life that current pain cannot cancel. There are opportunities approaching your life that fear cannot stop. There are moments coming that will heal parts of you this season wounded deeply. I know you are tired of waiting, tired of hoping, tired of almost breakthroughs, tired of disappointment. But do not let temporary exhaustion convince you to abandon permanent purpose. You have survived too much to quit before the breakthrough arrives. And yes, sometimes the hardest part is waiting when you see no evidence anything is changing. But roots grow in hidden places before trees ever appear above ground. Your life has been growing underground spiritually, even when you thought nothing was happening. Especially then, some of the greatest transformations happen silently, quietly, slowly, in darkness, just like seeds before spring arrives. And spring is coming for your life, not metaphorically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. A season where breathing feels easier again. A season where peace stops feeling impossible. A season where your nervous system finally relaxes. A season where you no longer wake up with immediate dread in your chest. Can you imagine that? Waking up without fear controlling your first thought. That future exists. God is leading you toward it one step at a time. Even now, even tonight, even through this exhaustion. And there's something else you need to hear before sleep finds you. You are not behind in life. I know it feels that way, especially when social media keeps showing everybody else winning, everybody else moving forward, everybody else smiling. But comparison has been poisoning your peace because you were never meant to live somebody else's timeline. Your journey carries assignments nobody else could survive. And the delays that embarrassed you may actually become the very testimony that heals someone else later. Nothing in your pain has been wasted. Not the heartbreak, not the betrayal, not the loneliness, not the nights you almost gave up. God knows how to turn survival into purpose. That's what He does. He rebuilds people. Not perfectly polished people, real people, wounded people, people who know what pain feels like, people whose kindness became deeper because suffering humbled them. That is who you are becoming, not weak, deep. There's a difference. Your empathy grew because of pain. Your compassion grew because of pain. Your sensitivity grew because of pain. And one day, the very things that almost broke you will become evidence that God carried you through impossible seasons. But for now, rest. You do not have to solve your entire future tonight. You do not need every answer before morning. You do not need to force the next chapter open with anxiety. Some doors only open through trust, and God is already standing at the one meant for you. The opportunity you fear missing, if it truly belongs to you, will not require you to destroy yourself with panic to reach it. What God has for you will arrive with peace attached, not confusion, not torment, not constant fear. Peace. And maybe that peace begins tonight, right here, while you listen, while your tired heart slowly exhales for the first time in a long while. Maybe this is the moment your soul finally realizes, I'm going to make it, not because life has been easy, but because God never actually left. He was there in the silence, there in the delay, there in the uncertainty, there in they nights nobody checked on you, there when you cried in secret, there when anxiety wrapped around your chest so tightly you thought you might break. He stayed, even when other people didn't, even when opportunities disappeared, even when doors slammed shut. He stayed. And because he stayed, your future still exists. Your purpose still exists. The door is not closed. The door is not closed. Listen to me carefully. The door is not closed. Fear lied to you. Hopelessness lied to you. Your exhaustion lied to you. God is still opening things, still moving, still healing, still restoring, still preparing a place for the version of you that survives this season. And you will survive it. Not barely, beautifully. One day, you'll look back at this season and realize this was the moment everything started changing. Not because pain disappeared overnight, but because hope returned. And hope changes everything. So tonight, before sleep takes your tired mind, release the pressure, release the fear, release the timeline you've been choking yourself with. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not abandoned. You are not too late. And you are certainly not unloved. God still has plans for your life that are bigger than the fear currently surrounding you. Plans filled with healing. Plans filled with peace. Plans filled with restoration. Plans filled with opportunities your current mind cannot even imagine yet. So, breathe slowly now. The war inside your mind does not get the final word. Fear does not get the final word. Lack does not get the final word. Loneliness does not get the final word. God does. And his final word over your life is still hope, still purpose, still love, still open doors, still new beginnings. So sleep tonight knowing this. Heaven has not given up on you. Your future has not disappeared, and the opportunity meant for your life is already moving towards you, even now, quietly, carefully, lovingly, like dawn approaching after the longest night imaginable. And when that door finally opens, you will realize something beautiful. God was never late. He was preparing you to walk through it whole. Now rest, my child. You've carried enough for one night. You are safe here. You are seen here. You are loved here. And tomorrow, hope will still be waiting for you.